This is how a dead man feels.
Hey, and welcome to this video about the new weapon of this second anniversary, the Silent Shuriken. And exactly just like Rhythm/Suga on my previous video, I can show you on the test server how this weapon works. I will first make an overview of all the weapon's mechanics, and then I will take a look more deeper into the numbers and how it progresses through the limit breaks. Let's take a look at my inventory, where there is a lot of Silent Shuriken. It's only to show you the full progression of it. So they are all leveled up to the level 90 with a full star energy loaded. Actually, the translation of the description is not made yet in English, but I will do it for you. The 5 first star energy are regular, just like all other weapons. And after the 6, we will earn some weapon skill damage and a boost against Beast Boss. It's important to note that it's just like the Rhythm/Suga. This is the first weapon that have specific bonus against Beast Boss. This bonus go up to 15 when it's at the 8th star level, and all other boosts are actually regular compared to all other weapons. If we take a look at the actual translation of the description, we can see that it's divided into 3 parts. One first part with a clean screen that will destroy the obstacle. Then some shuriken will be spawned to be collected and throw some double attack to the boss directly. And a final main projectile that is also directed to the boss. But let's stop reading and just watch it. As you can see, the attack is pretty fast and have multiple advantages, like hitting off the screen and directly aim to the boss anywhere he is, but the last part needs to be aimed directly to it. Also, when the boss are behind, all the phases are adapted to make you hit it behind without any problem. The weapon works perfectly fine during a jutsu, and the magnet effect of the phase 2 of Suga will retrieve the shuriken easily. Note that this magnet effect doesn't work with Itsuru because she actually missed the shuriken of the weapon, but not all of the shuriken. In the end, what I noticed the most is that this weapon is very reliable on hitting the target even if you miss some of its part. But let's go to a part that should interest you more about the ratio of this weapon. To do that, I need to equip 2 of the weapon with a basic equip that will not bring that much damage. I have a basic attack of 4348. And I will need to remove some stuff coming from my Oak that bring me 144 attack only on the wind element. My weapon is wind element, so I need to count it. And my wind element ninja tree also bring me 90 of this wind element attack. Now that I have collected all this information, I just need to do an attempt with my weapon against a basic boss, which will be on the ellipse stage of chapter 6 at the last boss, because my weapon will be fully loaded when reaching the boss. So, we will go for it slowly. At first there is the phase 1 that will deal a fixed amount of damage. I can calculate the ratio of that. Then the 5 shuriken that will deal 2 times a specific amount of damage. But I noted that the last hit are less stronger than the first hit. Okay, let's calculate that. Then the last phase will deal a big shuriken that will not be calculated easily. Let's just deduce it from the ended damage. Now, let's add all of this, and we will get the final ratio. 9.73. If we keep separating this ratio through the phase, we can get the percentage of effectiveness of each phase. We can see that the first and the last part are really important, but I will focus on the second part more. And why the second part? Just to show you an interesting fact about the two last Shuriken that didn't do that much damage. If I missed them, I wouldn't have lost that much damage because it's only less than 5% of my total weapon damage. It only confirmed the reliability of the weapon, but let's see how it goes through the limit break now. The first limit break will be interesting because it adds up some new Shuriken to the second phase. And this effect is especially improved when you play Prism/Suga, which means that this is the weapon of Prism/Suga, but you already know about that. Let's see those 10 Shuriken against our favorite boss. The first 3 of them will deal the exact same damage as in R0, but then a new damage will appear for 3 new Shuriken. And the 4 last Shuriken will deal the exact same amount of the last Shuriken of the R0. Let's not forget that Prism/Suga have 2 more Shuriken than other ninja. Let's start with the regular Suga, which 8 Shuriken, and we can see that only the 2 last Shuriken deal the lowest damage. With that, we got a final ratio for Prism/Suga and from all other ninja. I can also focus only on the phase 2 ratio, and I can see that being Prism/Suga doesn't change that much. The other part that interests me is the impact of the last Shuriken that I could not collect if I want, because now the percentage of the last Shuriken have greatly decreased, only a bit more than 2% per Shuriken missed if I only missed 2 of them, which is really low. The 2 added Shuriken to Prism/Suga only improve his reliability into missing them. Now let's go for the second limit break and see that I can now have some critical damage, which is a problem for my ratio calculation because I can no longer test it without having an unstable damage output. So, if you think about it, my regular damage won't change its ratio. What will change is the effective damage I will do, and for that I will calculate an effective ratio out of the probability of having a critical damage. Let's see about this. If I want to get this ratio, I need to consider that I have 20% chance of dealing 1.3 more damage. If I multiply this by my ratio, and I keep considering that it only happens 20% of the time, I can add this to the rest of the time where my ratio is regular. And doing that, I can get an effective ratio, which is purely theoretical. But actually, this is the average damage I will get when playing the Silent Shuriken. I can also calculate the maximum critical damage possible, but trust me on that part, it's almost impossible to get this ratio while playing the Silent Shuriken. The third limit break won't improve my effective ratio, but will improve my stability into dealing my damage because I can now magnet the storm orbs of the second phase. Let's take a look at it. It's just an improvement in my damage stability. The fourth limit break will add me 10% of weapon skill damage. Actually, this is part of the weapon and not of my character, so this improves the actual ratio of the weapon. And therefore, this will also improve the effective ratio. Here it is without any demonstration. And finally, the last limit break. It will increase my chance of dealing critical damage to 30% and add 20% to the critical damage itself, which make my effective damage way more strong now. Around 14. And don't forget about the beast damage, also present on the weapon, that can make it go up to 16. That's a lot, and also the theoretical and impossible max ratio, including a full critical damage, is above 20. Okay, so we can't reach it, but if we go back to the 14 of ratio, we can also compare it to the other weapon. And what we can see is that the Feather's Wind is quite close with median damage. But the problem is that the Feather's Wind have two main hits that cannot do the critical damage when it doesn't want to. Where the Silent Shuriken actually have a more stable damage because there is more hit that we can rely on. Other than that, don't forget that the Silent Shuriken can hit everywhere on the board, which is not the case for the Feather of Wind. Only for the fun, I will also do a small test with a lot of damage. If I add up some relic, specifically made with weapon damage, and also a team, specifically built to improve my weapon damage too, I will go up to more than 8000 of attack, which will lead to a quite funny result. Same setup, but this time with Itsuru, and you'll see that Itsuru still have a way better strength when it comes to the weapon damage. And it's over. Some of you might still wonder if they need to take this weapon, and the answer is mostly around still your budget, but it's stronger than the feather, yet the feather is still close to it, so if you already have a strong feather, maybe you can skip it, but, well, actually, people with the Silent Shuriken full leveled up will beat you. Don't forget about that, and if you have any more questions or want to comment anything on this video, maybe you've seen any mistake or maybe you think that I should have go more to some point, please tell me in the comment. Other than that, if you liked it, also tell me in the comment. Don't forget to keep subscribe because I will put some more video about the upcoming release. I think I will also do a video about Piri, I hope so. And see you next time!